Officially, good morning. Welcome to the Launchpad Wednesday market midpoint. I'm testing that. Shorten it up, the Launchpad. My name is Scott. I'll be your host. Nice fall morning. Disclaimers. As always, education, illustrative purposes only. Nothing is intended or should be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell. We're not brokers. We're not advisors. We don't give advice. Decisions made should be at your own risk. You know the rest. What are we going to do today? Today, we are going to take a look at the opening futures. Revisit our posture. Yada, yada, yada. Sandy gets it. Revisit posture. I got to tell you, I feel like we kind of did well with the way we handled posture, the way we maintained bullishness, the way we, I think there was a lot of things where there's just like, hey, everything's okay. Let's do this. See if it works out. Still look to find the best trades in the best areas, holding trends, bouncing. In the worst of times, that's going to at least keep you in the game. Good morning, El Jago. Mindset for trades. Glenn's been posting some great stuff on our alerts. I think a lot of people shut CCJ. If you had the spread, you basically could have gotten it for $4.95. Max gains $5. But it's the same thing today. You'll be able to do the same thing today. So if you're in the spread, it's there. There's nothing else left at this point. So you just shut her down. And if you're in the calls, you probably really knocked it out of the park. So I was teasing yesterday. A few people said that's what they did, and I'm like, oh. You don't even care about the alerts. Vladimir, good morning. Good to see you. Okay, what else? The opportunity list. It's sparse right now. Everything is kind of just finishing, at least on our list. So what are the options? Do you trade a downside? Do you look to find something off cycle? Do you just be a little more patient? I'm trying to find, and yeah, I do still have. I'll have to pull it up from the alerts, but I can't seem to find my watch list here. Oh, there it is. Never mind. Got you. Okay. Stephen, I do appreciate you nudging me, and I will continue to look to remember to put that on. Yes, just saying indeed. I get you. Setups, not many. I looked at Walmart. Anyone notice? Anyone have one that they thought, this seems like it's starting to flag? This one seems like it's moving into some kind of a consolidation. Or is your watch list chock full of things that just made some good moves and you're glad you've been a part of it? Okay. Trading plan. This is important this week. And we're working on our last loop of the trading plan cycle for the year. This is what's going to get us ready for 2026. I am also reviewing my plan and thinking about, okay, what are the things that I'm looking to do better right now? Because this is what is going to drop me right at 2026 with a new plan, with a not new, polished plan. Like, okay, let's make sure it all is what it needs to be. Refresh it. Okay, let's get going. Let's do it. Let me grab some. We'll take a look at that. So, obviously, my guy Jerry Bear. Decision on deck. What to expect? We're all expecting the same thing. A quarter of a point. We're all looking for the same thing. Verbiage as to the Fed's stance. Are they going to stay more dovish and not just give us that quarter, but be willing to be act as necessary? That's good Fed language, right? We don't know, but the Fed is in a stance that's accommodative. That's part of what we've talked about. Don't fight the Fed. it's always one of mine. Don't fight the Fed. And so, we'll look at the odds and see what we think. I don't know why my chat is not updating automatically. Love it, Steven. Thank you for that. A lot of updates, great learning growth. That's makes it easy to stay around doing it and succeeding. Futures rise, buoyed by NVIDIA. Okay, hopefully everyone's been in and starting to think about how they're managing or have already started managing an NVIDIA trade. What do the futures look like on that? Or the opening? I'm curious. So we're looking at a couple of points here. NVIDIA. Oh yeah, NVIDIA is cracking to 208. My goodness. That's a nice one. At this point, it's really you're in windfall type territory where it's like maybe you hold a little bit with a tight trail to see if you can ride it up if it's going to keep going. Certainly exceeding expectations. At this point, significantly, it's we're going to be up in this area here. So very nice. Manage well. Does anyone want to talk about, like, are you still in some? How does it look? Who's got a piece of that NVIDIA still? Okay, fair enough. March on. How high will it go? Well, that is clearly, when I thought about how it was going to go, I thought it was going to go here to about 203, which it did yesterday, pulled back. Right? I mean, that's exactly the point. There's no resistance. It's like buyers blow and it can keep going with the wind. No, you're right. Like, there's no way for us at this point. It's I'll sometimes call it parabolic. I don't think this has gone parabolic. Like, you'll know when you see parabolic. This is just it's a breakout for sure. You can see this was the old resistance. It smashed through it with big volume yesterday. So, and if, with the trend, I'm always thinking, well, I'm going to look for the higher high, which it did get, and now it's here. Who knows? That's what I'm saying. For me at this point, already shows. Good question. And I'll do this quick trick. And I love that you're engaging. Where's my drawing tools? So I want you to notice this great period of time right here. Overbought, actually. Sorry. I think you mean up here, already overbought. And if you look at this beautiful trend right here, it was overbought the entire time. What does overbought mean? It means there's a lot of buyers. And what happens when there's a lot of buyers? Price goes up. Now, we still look for consolidations, but you have to be very careful, and you'll learn this with this our group, is that 90% of what we do is up here. And then it starts to go down to like, another 5 to 7% is here in volume. And then we get down here to these indicators, and they just sort of confirm. And that'll make sure you're watching price. Price is what we look at. It's going up. There's buyers. Our expectations, things in motion tend to stay in motion. It's laws of physics. It works here as well. It's beautiful. We love it. Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. I mean, it's already, our trade was like a 3-to-1 right here. So everything up here is like, you're probably cranking out 4-to-1, 5-to-1. It's like a huge gain if you're still in it, especially if you're long calls. The spread is going to tap out. It's going to just have a very diminished returns. The spread at this point, there's not going to really be, I believe the spread expires on, if I believe the spread expires on Friday if you had it, and it's 190 to 195. So you're basically at max gain, very similar to the other one. You could sell it for $5, and that's, yeah, there it is. Okay, moving on. Let's go look at how this thing opened. And this is now we're there. Here it is. So we thought it would take this long to get to 203, and it's taken this long to get to 209 is where we are now. Of course, and Rosanna, welcome again. Okay, let's get to the watch list. We basically know there's no reason to hang around Yahoo. We know what's going on today. Right? We know what's going on today. It's the Fed. The market's still going to react, right? I mean, we're expecting that 1/4 point. If the Fed came back and all of a sudden they said rates unchanged, we know what would happen. The market would literally just collapse on that. Not a collapse, but it would definitely sell off. If they come back and they say 1/2 point, which is a surprise, the market's going to rally. I would say, it still might bump around a little bit, but it would definitely rally out of that. I think the verbiage is what they're looking for. I don't think there's going to be as much volatility as some of them recently, but maybe. But 12 o'clock Eastern announcement, 12:30 press conference. The market will react, and then it'll sort of stabilize until he starts speaking, and then react again. I just don't expect it to react as much as some other meetings. But sorry, I lost my watch list. Okay, we'll start at the SPY. And you can see, again, keeps pushing up. So my curiosity is, where are we on the VIX? And you'll notice the VIX has theoretically now reached a bottom, short term, a low, and turned. And it took out these levels. It didn't quite get back to this level, but right in between there. But that was, we kind of said this candle to us carried significance, that it was an overblown reaction and likely to have one of these follow throughs, and worked out. Now what? Well, now there's this. That's our last high. So whatever this does, and it doesn't look like it's doing much yet, but it could accelerate, right? Maybe it gets up here to 20, which is kind of like an old place it might spike to, and then it rolls over. What does that become? That becomes a lower high, and it's that de-escalation that we're looking for. If the institutions get us back into this sub 20 territory and hopefully overall trending down back towards, again, pre-pandemic, there was a time where the VIX was like at 12, and the market was trending beautifully, pop up to 18, very bullish time. It's because when it's very bullish like that, the institutions aren't wasting any money hedging. Right? What do they need to hedge for? Everything's great. They're happy with the economy. They're happy with the employment level. They're happy with the money coming in and invest. Right? Like if everything is good, they're not going to do very much hedging. That's how you need to think about the VIX. It's when it spikes, that's when the institutions are like, oh shit. The VIX is their oh shit handle as they're driving their car. Right? And so, yeah, everything's smooth, nothing, no problem. When it starts to get a little volatile, they're reaching up to grab that handle. Bam. And you can see it right here. Up, down. Now, it came back, and we, institutions are as prone to this type of thing. We can go back in history, and you can find other instances similar to this. Even going back to April, where like it spiked to like 60. We're like, what is going on? And then it reversed very quickly. So right now, this is to the reason I'm kind of belaboring this a little bit is just simply that there's this huge zone that overall, no matter what, as it turns back down, represents. So I don't care if it pops up. We just had a bunch of, I would be great. Right now, we're all kind of closing down all these trades that worked. And then what? Well, let's get another round. Well, for us to do that, the market has to breathe out so that it can breathe in again. And so, yeah, a little pullback. That's why I'm saying there's not a lot of signals right now. There's a lot of finishes more than there's like, hey, let's take this new trade. So if you prove me wrong, I'm looking for them. But that's why I wanted to start with the SPY and the VIX. Let's go to the top of our list. And this is what I mean, right? Like if you took this Apple trade, number one, you have earnings coming up. Number two, this was the move just kind of based on back here, which I felt like was pretty aggressive. And it ultimately got real close as of today. And this would be the end of the trade anyway. So if anyone still has any Apple left, we're kind of there. And it basically did what was asked, although you might have closed a little here. Anybody still have a piece of Apple if you took an Apple? This was not an alert. This was one we definitely talked about as it was setting up. And I believe a different one was taken at that time. And I was like, ooh, I should have took Apple instead. I mean, I may or may not have taken Apple. ABBV. I actually would like this if it weren't for this earnings. It kind of broke out of this downward consolidation. And then it's just sort of the sellers that were here are not here. But as this starts to look like it might turn around and start a new trend, the earnings are here. Although you'll notice the same kind of a thing happened back here, right? You had this right around earnings, and it was actually earnings that sort of kicked it out. So you might have to kind of wait for the first move, and then right from there, you're like, okay, I could trade this. I could trade this. There. A lot of different, if we can get 2 or 3 trades out of something on our watch list after it breaks out of a consolidation, starting there, then great. That would be fantastic. And again, we're doing what? The next 2 months. We already said this is a great cyclical time, November and December. And so can we get 2 or 3 months that look like this coming out of a breakout? I'm looking, like I said, Santa Rally, Archer Daniels, you've got earnings. It's defensive stock. It doesn't look great. We're keeping an eye on a few defensive stocks just to kind of have that perspective. Although I probably picked the wrong one. Maybe we should go back. And take a look in our Thursday session at staples as a sector to see if we can find better representations as we move into this market. That might be something that would help produce a trade. Amazon broke out of its consolidation just in time to report earnings. great. If earnings looks pretty good and it jitters around and pulls back, the next pullback, I think let's give it a shot. The same thing kind of happened. It gapped up, then it pulled back, and then it started a great opportunity. Earnings, I don't know. Last time it got hurt pretty bad, but then it rebounded quickly. ANET. That was one we discussed and kind of chopped around a little bit on entry. Something that I hope you guys are like. Sometimes we just think, oh, it's just like we get in and it just goes up and gets to its target. But we're starting to hopefully see what it really is, where it's like you're going to have times where it gets there, but it has a little bump. Well, okay, that's why I take a little bit, because if I take a little bit when it gets there, or half depending on the market, and then this fails, then I at least took a little bit there. But if I take a little bit there and then all of a sudden it breaks, I'm thinking, whew, sure glad I kept that other half. And then I can try to manage that. You'll notice, though, that even this one very quickly turned around. Like, you didn't have much time to take that. So we have to be like, oh, okay, so where are we now? Where's earnings? What am I doing here as this pinches? Now, could it keep going higher? Sure, but if you're in this, yeah, it's getting close to the end. Stops should be much tighter. APH broke. I mean, these are all very bullish, but they're all very bullish at these new highs. And whether or not they could keep going, if the next question is, do we build trades around could it keep going? No, right? For us, it's I need to be able to look at this, place a stop that controls my risk, and then project 2 to 3 times higher than that on the upside. And there's no way that after this just made a bigger move than it's made all year, and this has been a very strong year, there's no way that I'm going to come into this with an expectation of let's ask for more. Right? That's why if you're in it, you're thinking, how do I keep as much of this? If it does go a little higher, is there enough there for me to make without taking too much risk? But I would say mostly you're closing them down. And then what? Well, then we all want the same thing. The horse just ran a race. Rest it, feed it, get ready for the next race. And then we can come in and try to catch that. But yeah, it's patience. It's we'll see. And then, of course, we could get out of everything, and this thing could just all of a sudden go for another week, and you're like, oh, and you're just kind of watching it, and that's just like, yeah, what can you do there? ABGO, that one was a good signal. Turns out it was a little flat at the time. A lot of things turned out that way. Okay, so here we have maybe something starting a consolidation. Definitely a leader in the credit and full financial sector. Credit industry group. Credit industry group, financial sector. One of the stronger right now, AXP. BAC, same kind of a thing. You can see I left those lines. It wasn't far off, actually, in that regard. Little turn, a little bit of a roll. Citigroup, kind of looked at Citi coming out of this little consolidation pattern and said that's a maybe for. And if you took it, you're still in it, but it already looks like it's kind of slowing down. If it can slow down and then kick back up, it's still on the path that we would need it to be. If I hit one that you're in, tell me. Oh, look at Caterpillar on earnings. We were saying, would I take this as a bullish trade? And I think a few people said they might even did. And if you did you hold earnings? I mean, I know we're all always talking about, like, do you hold earnings? No. Although you'd be like, yeah, I would have loved to have. That was definitely the type of signal we're looking for. It just requires that you have a rule that allows you to lose everything. If it doesn't go this way, it went great. Which, for the sake of the market, we love this. Caterpillar, we've identified it as a industrials leader. We watch it as such. It just apparently smashed earnings. Let's see what it looks like. 452, they got 495, a big jump. It's like a 10% jump in earnings, and you can see the market loves it. This is going to help the industrial sector. Others will piggyback on that. This is going to help our market posture because we'd love to see industrials move back into a leading position. And this is the kind of thing that it's subtle, but this is what I'm looking for. Like what's gonna give us sector's one of our weaker right now, right? Sector's a 0 score right now for me. So what's going to show us money moving into the right places? This is great. I don't think anyone held this. Like, again, you just sort of are like, oh, wouldn't that be nice? CCJ, nice catch. It got there. It's just kind of sitting. Same thing. If you happen to have any of it, you should just sort of probably take it. I don't know at this point. CLS, very similar. And it actually looks like, yeah, I mean, it's at this point what? Well, this one, either of them, I guess. Then I'm looking for the next pullback. It's trending. It's strong. Capital One, okay. This was a maybe for me because it was in this consolidation, and earnings came strong, and it broke back out, got back to the old highs. It's definitely when we think about resistance, think recency and frequency. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 4 times that same level. 5, if you actually look at this, is 2 little hiccups. Bing, bing. Right? Did the same thing here. Hit it, pulled back, hit it again. Nope. So, I mean, this is a tough level right here. So, for me, as a cup and handle, this is like a double cup and handle. I don't even know. It did a cup, and then it handled, and then it's like, no, let's cup again. And it cupped, and now this cup was about the same, a little lower, but if you include that one touch, longer at this other one, and now it's in this handle. I don't know. It's not convincing. It's an interesting chart. Coinbase reports earnings. Cisco's great. Made a great move. I'd love to see Cisco pull back. I think anywhere through there would be like bouncing, breaking off of that little pullback trajectory, I think would be quite a bullish opportunity. And technology, as we know, is really kind of carrying the day. Delta sideways. I do think that there's some momentum in consumer discretionary, and I don't feel like we have a great representation. Like, this is our consumer discretionary. DoorDash, Delta. I don't know. I think there's better. Same for support. Level of touches, you're saying? Sorry, Steven, I didn't see that come in. I might be a little behind on that. Delta, or excuse me, diamonds. Now, this is one where I am a little concerned because I'm like, this Dow move looks strong. Like, it just like jumped into this new territory at a little faster rate versus the IWM, which sort of did this little bounce and then just sort of kind of like rolled over and dropped. So it's a small divergence, but you can see there's definitely a divergence. It's a defensive divergence. Now that can of course all change, especially with the Fed saying the right things. But I'm just saying, like, one of the stronger, in fact, not one of the stronger, the strongest component of our market posture right now is major market analysis, which if we see the Russell start to like drop out and the Dow crisscross it, that's going to pull it out and weaken things a little bit. So I'm like, is there a defensive shift here? I don't know. It doesn't seem all the way there, but certainly like it could be developing. Not Lumentum. Woo! Just finishing the move. It's got earnings. Still got time if you had this, but nice strong move up. Time to get in? No. This is this is the biggest move, and this has just matched it, but faster. Could it go a little higher? Sure. At this point, if you're in it, you're taking it. If you're not, you're watching it. And that's how most of these strong ones are. Is Steven on? Yes. ERJ. Let me put that up. ERJ. Okay. Industrial. Oh yeah, look at that. Very strong. Very strong. What's that average volume look like? About 1 million. Okay, it's not bad. Earnings coming up. I like that one. I like that one. Okay. Let me get back to my list here. Meta. And they report today after market. We'll see what that looks like. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's broken out of the consolidation it was in down here. So the buyers did that. Yeah, if it pulls back, I mean, if it breaks out and then pulls back, then that's fine too. I guess we'll watch and see what the earnings look like, what it does, how it reacts. Morgan Stanley. Yeah, I like Morgan Stanley. I like Goldman. Was it Goldman? Yeah. Did we talk about Goldman and Google? Yeah, Google is aftermarket today. That was a great trade. I actually ended up closing a little early, and then it made the move. So again, look at me. Hey, Scott, be a little more patient with at least some of it. Hopefully anyone who traded Google got a little bit more. Thank you, Bob. It's great to see you. For sending the message. So yes, Goldman, same thing, broke the consolidation. And now looking for, I like what. So a couple of things. It's nice to see AXP and Goldman and Morgan. The financial sector is very big and it's mixed, and right now it's a little bit lackluster. So to see some large names in there starting to reverse is very nice. Hopefully that we start to see that as well in our sector rotation. So Hood is one that we did trade. You can see what we wanted. Let's actually double this up. Still in line with just, you survived the hiccup when we talk about the hiccup and end of day stop versus intraday hard stop during a volatile day. It's tough to do sometimes because you might be watching it intraday and being like, oh my God, this thing's falling apart. But hopefully that's something that you're able to see. It happens. And you should actually look for it where you're like, hey, look at this move here. At one point, it rolled over and was looking like this. If at one point you looked at it, it looked like that. And you'd be like, oh, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, boom, it makes its move and you're like, wow, there it is. So we want to be realistic with the way that we expect trades to move and behave. How much leeway do we give them? Here, you might be thinking, do I have it up? I don't see it. Let me grab it real fast. Alerts. Okay. $163. Did I say 163? Oh yeah, 163. I guess I put this one back a little bit. So actually, that's a good point. Whoops. What did I just do? Okay. It's like, what did I just do? The 155. Yeah, I would actually adjust this. I'd be like, you know what? My new target would be I would be like, if it gets to 161.5, I would definitely be done. That's about $2 less. My take profit, I would give it one more day to get to these highs. I'd say 152 now. 152 now. And if tomorrow it's still at this same level, I'd be like, yeah, it's Friday. I'm going to take that off and then give some a chance the next week to see if it can pop again. Who has Hood? This was an alert. Who has it still? What are you thinking as you see this and I say that? Right? So yeah, we thought this is what was going to happen, and then it hiccuped, and coming out of the hiccup, if I put this line coming off of this, still have it, Bob Core. So okay, there you go. There you go. Me and Bob Core are thinking somewhere along these lines. All right. Howmet earnings are tomorrow. It's already kind of just sitting up after making this move. So it's like 85% of the market had a very similar perspective. And a lot of these things have made those moves. A lot of them have been earnings inspired, which makes them difficult to catch from trading perspectives. Earnings. This is on our list. We would have traded it, but we watched the earnings and it turned out pretty positive. IWM, small pullback. Lumentum, still going. Oh, we already did these. Where was I? Micron. Everything looks pretty strong. Netflix. So Netflix looks like it's bottoming out, and you might be thinking, "Oh, is that going to be?" I'm not looking for a bounce off of a low. Northrop Grumman maybe on a hiccup here, and Northrop Grumman can move off cycle. Whoops, I cannot find my drawing tools. Sorry, you guys. There we go. Erase, and this looked like it was a nice signal, and then it kind of had that little hiccup, but it's still holding. It's right at the 50. It's well above where it tested on this. So if this one sits for a minute and then starts to turn out of this, I think this one could certainly, make another move like that. And I don't know. I'd say I think about this one. Yeah. Nvidia just keeps going. Looks beautiful. Again, the trade was a spread because of the high volatility. But if you bought long calls, you're probably really quite happy that you did. It should be doing quite well. Still got time. On Nvidia, you're saying, Vladimir? Whoops. Back to Ford. Oh, Ford. How did I miss Ford? That was random, but flagging. Yeah, I would say Ford looks like it could be something that maybe is tradable if you think the momentum is going to continue there. Sold the Nvidia this morning. Yeah, it makes sense. Especially if it's the spread. The spread's there. It doesn't have any extra room. If you have calls, it could keep going. You could certainly do it. Okay, so yeah, that's on my list. Ford. Hood, still time. Oh, definitely. I know. I 100% agree on Hood. Yeah. I think you have time, but if we get to, I guess we actually have 2 days. I don't know why I was thinking today was Thursday. We had 2 days before the Friday, so yeah, I would give it to Friday before I make any hard decision, and then this comes after market on the 5th. Is that Tuesday? Wednesday. So yeah, you still got some time on Hood for sure. I agree, 100%. And just a little stall doesn't necessarily mean much. So yeah, let's keep an eye on that. Nvidia, have calls on that. Good. Sold the spread last week. Okay. Palantir made a move. Has earnings coming up. Looks like a pre-earnings move based on everyone else's earnings, at least, maybe. The Qs, very strong. We'd like to see the NASDAQ continuing to lead the way. Certainly this could lead into a strong bullish December. Roblox. I would be thinking about Roblox potentially if it weren't for earnings. Now I'm going to watch it. Reddit, no. Also earnings. Rocket Lab. I would say Rocket Lab's a maybe. Again, just like NOC. Strong move up. Hit some resistance. Pulled back. Started to bounce out of it, and now it's going through a little bit of a hiccup. So if this pulls back and it doesn't get, if it pulls into here and then bounces again, I'm definitely like, yeah, okay. Looks great. Let's take it. So Rocket Lab could be sooner than others. Silver, a little rebound. You may see a little short-term upswing here, but if it doesn't get if it doesn't get to 45 or much into this range, I would say, whoops, sorry, bad line. The reversal possibility is much stronger. So if it gets up into here and it just like ventures into this space, right? Little falling star type patterns or something like that, and it starts to roll over. Yeah, I don't know, maybe a downside trade on looks like that could be the next level down. Maybe a downside trade on silver if it fails. A lot of overextension in there, but it could just get bullish again. So again, not like I'm feeling bearish, but I'm starting to think, where's the money going to shift? If there's more money coming into stocks, where's it coming from? Maybe from the precious metals, where people got defensive and then are realizing, oof, we're missing out on an opportunity. SoFi. This was an okay trade. It ended up moving. We took it back here, and it gave many opportunities to make small profits, a little bit of opportunity to make a little more than that. If you held earnings, which I don't, the earnings came before market. So here was the last opportunity to close out. Just sort of a meandering trade. Never went wrong. Meandered around being kind of right. SPY today. We're 37 minutes in. Not a lot of range. You can see the opening range. If you take the extremes, looks like this, and we actually broke to the upside, and now it's kind of testing. If it holds here and then turns, then we think it's going to be a bullish day. I think it could be a doji type day where it moves up, comes back, moves down, comes back, and just sort of stays around this initial range, 688.5 to 689.5. We'll see. Anyone day trading it today when we're done here? And if so, what stocks? I'm curious. Let's go look at Tesla. Yeah, Tesla just keeps hanging around. It's got its institutional cult followers and its retail cult followers. No, I don't know. Is it still making any money? Day trade PLTR. That's a good one. I mean, I guess it did actually exceed profits, 50 versus 41. But it seems like there's a lot of headwinds in a lot of areas where, like, disappointing sales are dropping in certain regions. I don't know. Maybe the robots, the army of robots that he's promising to build when they authorize his $1 trillion salary. I mean, that sounds like a really bad, like, sci-fi movie, right? the billionaire who's like, I want $1 trillion salary and I will build a robot army. And with this robot army, I will conquer the world. Okay. Copyrighted. I'm going to write that movie now. Taiwan, we talked about that. It's a nice, slow follow. I mean, it's moving. If you took it, you're probably making a little bit of money. Starting to get into some resistance levels where you're like, okay, let's be careful not to let this thing bounce back down on me. Uber is kind of flat, just hovering around the 50, which is fine. I mean, it's not something I would trade bullishly, but I know a few people had some covered calls on it. Visa reported earnings very flat. I watch it because it's either that or MasterCard. I guess let's go look at MasterCard. Which is better? Yeah, actually, I think MasterCard's a little better. Let's put MasterCard on our list and get rid of Visa. I feel like Visa is just kind of uninteresting to watch. Boom, change made. VIX still kind of pushing higher today, not by a lot. If I said, "Ooh, how scared does the market look or feel based on this VIX?" You'd be like, hardly at all. I agree. Great. We love a de-escalated breathe out rather than a panic gasp. Walmart. Ooh, okay. So I said earlier, Walmart, if it can hold, and there it is, doing its darndest to do so. Stochastics is pinching, holding the 50. I'd probably say I would want to see it cross this line, and I'd have a stop zone somewhere below the low of this candle and below the low there. Target, I would say, around 109, and then maybe a little piece more getting up. See if they can test new highs. I think that would work out, something like that. So, anyone in Walmart? Anybody thinking about Walmart? I'm thinking this is probably it's interesting because it's kind of consumer discretionary, but it's also kind of consumer staples. It kind of has a foot in both sides. On paper, Don said, okay, fair enough. Okay. Yeah, I'm watching that. I think this has some possibilities. Volatility is high for it, but only at 32, so I'd probably still end up buying options on this one. Real quick, check in with the XLs. XLB materials is just kind of flat and steady. Communication services is trying. It's kind of holding up. XLE. Thoughts on XLU? It's trying to hold up. Financials is down a little bit. The China trade deal could push Walmart up. I agree. That would be very favorable. Industrials looking stronger and stronger. Technology leading the way. You can see consumer staples where we're like, ooh, this feels like it could be a little bit defensive. It's all the way back down. So we're like, maybe not. That's a better sign for us. Utilities. Absolutely, I think it could bounce. Now, do I think it will bounce? Hard to know. Do I think it could bounce? Well, you can see it was a nice bounce there, and then it hiccuped. But did it break support? No. And again, we've had many good outcomes here recently because we did not get shaken out when it didn't break support. I don't think it had moved enough to be like, now that's the move we're looking for. So I'd say, it needs to. So, to get through the weekend, I'd want it to get to at least up to 92. The next week, it would need to get through that in the first little bit. And then there we go. Healthcare. Healthcare actually still looks pretty strong. Just made new highs. It's pulling back. XLV or a healthcare stock, I would still be potentially interested. Consumer discretionary. This is what I'm saying. This feels like it's gotten a little stronger, but I feel like it has broken out of this. So there should be some stocks that are viable on a little bit of a pullback here. I think there's better in this sector. I think we should make that a point of action on Thursday. Let's search. Let's give it a search. Right.
This is a reminder.
This is a reminder.
Water the bonsai.
8:15. I need to push that a little later now, so it doesn't keep interrupting me at the end of my session. Okay. Now it's just going crazy. Sorry, my Alexa's gone nuts. Okay. XLY. Yes, we need to find better. Lastly. Dun, 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 dun. Section 1. 3 bullets for strengths, 3 bullets for weaknesses, 1 paragraph for B, C, and D. That's it. You could do that in a half an hour. It'll be beautiful. You'll have that in place. If you don't, if you already have it, okay. Are they the same bullets? Do you need another one? Maybe prioritize the bullets. You start to put a little extra, like, okay, here's my core strengths and here's my, because then when you know what your biggest weakness is, you start to think about, how do I address that weakness? In my rules, can I set a goal, right? The B, C, and D are all about just sort of kind of building a structure, a foundation for motivation to help out, give you something to anchor to. A chance to just kind of sit down and say, why am I doing this? Make it strong. That's it. It's a good one. Okay. What else? Okay. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that. He had mentioned to me, and I thought he just wanted to come on. He didn't say he wanted me to call him. So I'm not sure. I'll have to dig this up in chat, or send me that in circle if you don't mind. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate it. All right. Well, that's it, everyone. It's good to see you guys. Glenn will be here tomorrow morning. I will be here on Thursday evening and then again Friday afternoon. This is a great spot where we are right now. I believe our market posture is likely to increase. Again, I believe that we're in a good place for a mild pullback and possibly a bounce. I mean, we're seeing good earnings, hopefully some good accommodative verbiage from the Fed, and we move into a cyclically strong November and December. That sounds fantastic, if you ask me. So, good to see you guys. See you soon, as always. Happy trading.